Okay, so here's my hot take. Maelle's ending is the correct ending. And I've seen the argument. Okay, maybe not the correct ending. Either ending is fine. But hear me out. Verso wants to die. Verso wants to die. The sliver of the soul of Verso doesn't necessarily want to stop painting, but he wants to stop paint. Oh, I got a new outfit for Lune by parrying. It was a whole thing. This is Maelle's or Alicia's Axon, which Renoir painted. And Verso is a fucking liar. He lies with every breath. And
Another axon. How did it get so large?
She wasn't always this tall, but she's obsessed with reaching the stars.
she's obsessed with reaching the stars.
Parables?
He never paints just to paint. Everything has to have layers and layers of meaning and purpose. Everything's a lesson.
What's the lesson with this one?
Hope.
Lizzie. My sister's at the top.
So we know that Renoir
I have vertigo.
wants his children to be well, he wants Alicia to be different. We know that Aline blames Alicia for Verso's death. And we know that the sliver Verso soul does not want to keep painting in a world where his parents are fighting, there's death and destruction everywhere, all of his...
Grasps the sky.
She who grasps the
hate
sky.
climbing.
And yet, the real Alicia hates climbing. And sure, this is about having hope. And we know from Renoir that he wants Alicia to find hope and joy in life after the accident. But everyone blames her as if it's her fault when it was the writers who killed Verso and burned the house down. It wasn't Alicia. It wasn't her fault. So hear me out. If we're saying that Verso has a right to die, that's fine.
Great.
But he doesn't have a right to end everyone else's life and all of their choices. He doesn't get to decide that for everyone. And Maelle says that. You don't get to decide that for everyone. And another thing Maelle says is that she doesn't want to go back to her life. She says a life of loneliness where she's an empty shell. She can't even speak. She can barely breathe. And so who are we to say Maelle / the real Alicia can't make that decision for herself? She wants to die. She wants to die in the painting. She wants to stay in the canvas. Eventually, when she dies, the canvas will be destroyed. Verso's soul can stop painting. Verso will be free, or she will make life bearable for Verso. She's made him mortal now, so he can die and grow old. And who's to say that... What's down here? Who's to say... There is something down here.
Interesting.
Who's to say that baby Verso, who's still painting, won't be happier now that the canvas is free of all of the misery and death? You know, like we don't know. Like Maelle and Alicia's letter, like painted Alicia's letter says to Maelle, maybe you can find another way.
Feel the embrace of
So who are we to decide this for everyone? If we decide to let Maelle stay in the painting, like, who are we to decide? Like,
Trying to fix things or break things?
She who grasps the sky. They're jealous. They wish to destroy her work. Pull her back to the ground.
Is this part of the parable?
so, no.
Everything is.
Clea, I think, is the one who made these Nevrons, because Clea made all the Nevrons. And Clea, I think, while she is kind of a villain, she blames Alicia, she's also grieving and struggling. And I think she gives us really great advice in the Endless Tower, which we're going to go through after this if we have time. But basically what I'm trying to say here is, if we're saying that Verso has a right to die, why are we saying that we have to force Alicia to live, or Maelle to live in Alicia's shell of a body, in loneliness, where she can't even communicate?
Feel the embrace of fire.
If she wants to die in the canvas, let her die in the canvas. Everyone will die in the canvas eventually. When she dies, they'll die. So, I mean, everyone will be set free eventually. Like, whether they die of natural causes, whether she chooses to, like, make it so there's no more birth, so that everyone who lives, like, they get to live the rest of their life and then die peacefully of an old age. Like, whatever. But if she wants to stay in the canvas, she should be able to stay in the canvas. She should be able to stay with Gustave and Sophie and Ciel and Lune and Monaco and Esquier and all of them. Who are we to decide? Who are we to say, no, you have to live, you have to go back, because Verso needs to be free right now. He's waited a century, like, or 67 years or whatever, like 67 years, a century, however long it's been. He can wait a little longer. And she's giving him the chance to age and die of old age. So, like, he's not even going to be forced to live the rest of the time that she's in the canvas. So, like, who are we to say that, you know, we need Verso to die right now, like, right this second, need him to stop painting right now?
Feel the embrace.
Like, let baby Verso find some of the joy he had originally when he was first painting the canvas, and get rid of all of the terrible things that make him want to not paint anymore. And yeah, I mean, Verso would prefer to be a singer, but he did enjoy playing in the painting, and he says that the everyone in the painting, even Lumiere, the people of Lumiere, are just as real. So who are we to decide? Who are we to say that they're not? You know? So that's all I really wanted to say, is that Maelle's ending is right. And who are we to say that Verso needs to die right this second, right now, and be liberated right now? Like, everything that Verso does is self-serving, selfish, manipulative, and full of lies. There's nothing he says that's true. And Maelle hates liars. She hates liars. He tells her, he says repeatedly, he got there too late. He got there too late. He wishes he could have saved Gustave, blah, 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 blah. And we find out in the end, he could have saved Gustave, and he chose not to, because he thought that Gustave was going to stop him, or try to stop him. And so, and if we stand by Gustave, then who are we to say that, oh, Verso is right all of a sudden? Verso gets to have his way. Verso should be the one who gets his way and gets to die immediately. Like, Maelle, okay, maybe she'll die in the canvas. Maybe she won't. Maybe she'll paint a new canvas. She'll find a middle path. She'll find a way to live outside of it. And everything all will be well. Maybe she'll decide to let go of the canvas eventually. Maybe she just wants to die at peace in the canvas, surrounded by people who actually love her and want her around, because all that we've seen of her family is that they blame her for Verso's death. They would rather she have died than him, that she doesn't have talent, that she's weak. They don't want her around. They don't love her. They don't care about her, and they don't want her. So, of course, in this painted world where she's a foster child, she struggles. She's still going through the same things. She's weird. But ultimately, she is happy and has found family inside the canvas. So who are we to take away her found family? Who are we to rip away her support system and throw her back to a family that has shown her repeatedly that they do not care about her well-being? So that is why, you know, and in Maelle's ending, Verso will like eventually get his way. Like the canvas will eventually be destroyed. Like Maelle's not going to live forever. Like Alicia is not, her body is not going to live forever. So eventually the canvas will die. So eventually Verso will get his way. Why does it need to be right now? Why do we need to throw Maelle back to people who do not care about her well-being? So that's all I really wanted to say. And that's my hot take. And that's, I mean, I wanted to say that here in The Reacher, which is her reaching the sky, and painted Alicia reaching for the sky and hoping for something better. I mean, in her letter, it shows how much she hopes and how gentle of a soul she is and how empathetic. And we've seen nothing but that from Maelle. So who are we to say all of a sudden that she's a villain? She's wounded and hurting and grieving just like the rest of her family. So that's it. That's really all I wanted to say. Maelle's ending forever. That's it. Thanks. Bye.